So it sounded like, so you shared your event for Super Week and it was like 5 hours. It sounded like you had like a guest speaker and like amazing thing.
I had more than a guest speaker.
You had like Carl
Honestly,
and all the people talking, I'm sure.
Carl was there, and then Donald from Autumn's programs from 80 Day all the way up through 4 weeks in healthy obsession. And then Amala was our super trainer. We got a photo with him for VIP access, and then he spoke before we did our workout. We did a live workout with him. My biggest surprise that I was like dumbfounded with, and I still am, I'm sitting in the venue and we're waiting for it to start. General admissions coming in. I turn my head and I look. Aaron Hopkins is walking down the aisle. And I was like, wait, am I seeing this? Like, is this Aaron? And it was Aaron Hopkins. She ended up coming and surprising her third or fourth downline team that's out of Jersey for being top 10 in 2023. She decided Saturday night she was going to fly to Philly and surprise her downline to come in for Super Weekend.
That's awesome. I think I saw that she was in Charleston or something like
She
Saturday.
was in Charleston Saturday, and then she flew Sunday morning up to Philly to surprise her downline. And
That's
she
awesome.
spoke for like 2 seconds when she was there, but she meant she was there just to surprise that team on her downline. So that was a pretty cool thing to see. I had to double takes, and my girlfriend was there, and she was like, "Who's Aaron?" I was like, "She's a top 4 coach, like top 10 coach, number 4 in the company right now," and that just surprised the crap out of me. And then Donald, and then it was, I don't know. I don't have words. I still don't have words. I have some, but I don't have everything.
That's awesome. The live events are really, really impactful. We had Joel at ours. He like talked throughout the workout, but he didn't like give a speech, and it was fun. And normally they do like a coach speaker or someone speaks. I'm guessing. Did Donald and Carl speak? Okay. So we didn't really have like a speaker, but we did have this one man. They like said who's lost whatever weight from Beachbody. The one man stood up and was like, I think 2 people lost 100 pounds, which was kind of cool. I was hoping they'd go like share their story, but they didn't. But yes, live events are awesome. The next live event, so Super Weekend is quarterly, and the next one is virtual. So everyone can watch it. And then the next live event is our annual summit trip. So I know we started a chat group if anyone else wants to go. Jesse posted the link in the team page. Ask me and I can tag you in it. But you can basically join our WhatsApp chat. That's in June. I believe it's the 25th through the 29th. So we're trying to figure out those plans. And then I think the next quarterly event would then be the 3rd quarter of 2023, where it would be a live event for Super Weekend. So lots of exciting things, but other than that, I feel like the beginning of the month has just flown by. I didn't think I'd be so busy doing all the things, and here I am. And it's the 10th, and I hope you guys are feeling good about your goals. I hope you're feeling like you're making progress or making even one change out of all the goals from the start of the year and feeling good about it. Does anyone want to share like how their goals are going, how they're feeling, anything like that?
I'll share just because of what I texted Abby. So I actually texted Abby, I don't even know, what was it, like probably a couple days ago now or something. And I was like, okay, I wrote down my goals. I'm like, but I was like, the biggest thing that, oh my gosh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Ashley and Celia, names, horrible. So what's the dude's name? Brett, is it Brad? Is that the guy's name? Okay. So Brad said he's like, if you have a goal and you're kind of just like, and he's like, if you set a goal for yourself and you just feel like you're just kind of like a sitting duck, like you feel like you're not doing anything, he goes, your goal isn't big enough. And I went through and I'm like, and I kept thinking like for a couple hours about it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, it's true. So like there had been one thing that had been sticking in my head, like literally since like New Year's Eve, and I couldn't get it out of my head. So finally I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So my goal is to make $30,000 this year. That is my goal. And it scares the living crap out of me, but I'm like, you know what? It's going to motivate me. It's going to keep me moving. Even if I only get one thing done a day, it's going to keep me moving. And I've actually just since the beginning of the year, have had 4 people reach out to me. And it's just, I was stuck in a rut for a while. And I was having a couple medical stuff and my mom had a heart cath and everything. And I'm like, I got to do this. And I have an appointment with my urologist coming up next week. So my hormones have been a little off from some medical issues and stuff like that. But so I've been kind of afraid of posting my transformations lately, but I'm like, you know what? I'm like, why should I be afraid? It's all a part of life. I haven't given up on the workouts. I'm still continuing. So you just got to keep pushing. So I'm like, this is what's going to motivate me, because everything else right now is kind of like got me on high alert. I've got to do something that's going to keep me calm and keep me motivated and keep me moving along. So yeah, but yeah, scares the crap out of me, but it's keeping me going.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think you basically touched on it. It's like people want to see our realness and see that this is real life. Like you're going to struggle, you're going to fall off, and that's when they're going to connect to you and reach out to you. And I think that's awesome, because no matter through your husband being gone and all these things, you have continued to show up for you. And it looks different probably every day. And sometimes it's messy, but you still showed up. And I have noticed your consistency. So I think people have also noticed it, and they're just like, okay, how are you still doing this? Tell me more. And that's awesome. And I love that goal, even though it's big and scary. If you want to talk more, kind of maybe break it down each month, what that looks like and how you want to build it, we can definitely do that. But I love that you texted me that. And it's only January 10th, and that's awesome for people. And basically your job is to change people's lives. So I think that's really awesome. Just being a little vulnerable and sharing our stories is what gets people connected to us. And it kind of takes us getting out of our comfort zone, but that's when we're going to find our true people, not just these people that are like, they can go to any coach. And I say this all the time, they can go to any coach, but they're choosing to go to you. And that's powerful. Anyone else? How are your goals going? If you want to share.
I'll be honest, I've made big goals for myself for the year, just to kind of start gathering everything. And the past 10 days haven't been going the way that I expected them to. And today really was one of those days where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore, because I got a lot of stuff put on my plate this morning at work, and I got so overwhelmed, and I was just pissed off. I was stressed. I didn't want to do it. And kind of kept reminding myself that like you're doing something on the back end to kind of get out of this crazy shit, basically, and just move on to something that's bigger and better that you want to do for the rest of your life, instead of being in corporate. I mean, I thought I was going to be in corporate, but I wasn't. And having that constant reminder today in my head, I think from Sunday, that like I can do this somehow, kind of got me through, and kind of was like, okay, you really need to start kicking some butt here on the back end, start putting yourself first and putting everything else first before anything else. And realizing that it's easy to do before anything for us to do this. It's not easy to put ourselves out there, but it's easy to do the back end and everything in some ways. And realizing that like, hey, this is starting to be a lot for you, pushing yourself to do your second job almost, and starting to get yourself out of this rut that I've been in is important. And to eventually get yourself out of this corporate life is like the biggest thing right now pushing me for this. So I think having that realization today was just like opening for me, if that makes, I know that's just like a whole lot of rambles right there, but it was basically getting out of this, realizing that corporate is not what I want to do, and I can realize I have something more potentially do within this. That was a lot of rambling. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That was perfect. And I think I can really relate to that. I went through the same thing with my corporate job and like the stress and overwhelm. And like, I felt like I turned into like not myself. I was like irritable and angry and like just the only thing that I remember helping was like pouring into this business. And I had the same mindset I used to. It was like, all right, I'm tired. Like when you have a stressful day or an emotional day, like that kills a lot of your energy. But I was like, I'm going to show up for my business no matter what, because I know that's a step in the right direction of where I want my life to be. And I think that's a great mindset. And the little steps every day do pay off for sure. So I was not rambling at all. That was perfect. Thank you. Anyone else before we dive in? Can be anything, any thoughts at all? All right. I appreciate you guys sharing. And this is just the beginning of a whole new year. So I hope you guys, I know I wrote a bunch of goals and I'm not reaching them all. So I'm guilty of it too. If you're sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't reached my goals. Just focus on what I'm focusing on is, okay, I made all these goals, but am I bettering myself each day? Am I doing something each day that's making me at least a bit closer to my goals? Even if I don't reach everything and it's chaos and crazy, did I do at least something that's going to get me at least half a step closer? And I think that's what matters. And for any of you guys that feel like your days aren't going as planned, I've been trying to kind of look at it as the whole week. So like, maybe I didn't get through all my messages and clear my inboxes every single day this week, but maybe I did every other week. And then I did my invites those opposite every other weeks. And that's what I can do right now. And I'm making progress. It's not like I'm stopping everything. It's not that I'm going all in and like doing everything perfectly, but it's that recognition that you guys are still doing awesome. And I think we need to all remember that. With that, I wanted to just dive in to a working hour. Tiffany, I don't know if you actually listened to Heather today. I know I didn't. She was doing a power hour.
I totally forgot.
No, that's okay. So
Was that from the National Wake Up Call part?
so I think it was just posted on the body's site. So
So I was gonna say, because I was planning to listen to National Wake Up Call and haven't gotten that far yet this week. So I didn't know if that was part of that one.
I don't think, so I haven't listened to National Wake Up Call either, but Holly is one of my favorite in the company. And I feel like I think similar to her, and she probably did an amazing call. I don't know if anyone listened to it yet, but definitely recommend it, even though I haven't listened to it yet because of who it is. Heather is actually, I just follow her on social media. Honestly, I just like her personality and her like how she approaches business based on what she shares. She is a coach of Emily Favre's, and she just went on and did like a live power hour, like walking us through the tracker and basically her inputs on what she does for each of the things. And I honestly didn't watch it yet, but I'm sure she has good tips. She's very, she's not very like salesy or businessy. She has a military husband, 2 dogs, and she just kind of shares her life to the point where I would probably share more business stuff and more health and fitness stuff than her, but she does really well. And I think she's very sweet. So I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm hoping that she gives us some ideas that can help us during our power hour. Let me also bring up all my tabs. Hold on. Okay, so that's her. If you guys are watching the replay or whatever and you're new here, to find your tracker, I go to teambeachbody.com. I click on Coach Tools, and right here you have daily activity tracker. That's all you do. You click on it. I was just in Logan's account, so it's gonna have me sign on as his. But this is what I think Tiffany said it the other day. Like, we kind of get caught up in all these tasks of what we're doing and how to do it and what we should be doing. And this literally breaks it down. And I'm gonna send you guys another tracker right now that I saw someone post. I'm gonna send it in WhatsApp. It's another version of a tracker that you guys could potentially, like, I don't know, print, whatever you want to do. But I think it could be helpful. It's just more fun and more updated in a way. I don't know. You guys can see what a better fit is for you. But this is super nice. And I just want to remind you guys, like, literally, did you work out today? Did you drink your shakes? That's part of your job. Some of this stuff is more behind the scenes, but are you going on your story? Are you posting on social media? And it updates your percentage. And you just click it off. And part of our job is doing personal development. I want you guys to remember that even doing all this basic stuff, you're literally doing a huge majority of what we do as coaches every day. So keep sharing and keep doing all the things. Does anyone have any questions on the tracker now that I have it up? All right. I am going to go right into playing this. And I honestly, like I said, I didn't watch it, but I know she's super successful, doing great. And I love her personality. So I wanted to hopefully all get tips from her. So we'll follow along. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat and I can try to answer them, like the chat on Zoom. And we'll try to get some working time done and just follow her direction. Is everyone good with that? I can't see your faces, but I will assume we're good. Okay, here we go.
We're going to do some interaction stuff, but if you're watching the replay, if you want to just put replay, that would be great.
Here?
And then any questions that you guys have throughout, put them in the comments and I will go through.
Okay, perfect.
I'll try to go through live and I'll go back.
Okay, can I make it full? Can I make it full screen?
This live action
That's as big as it goes.
Thing that we're going to do every month. And so I think this is going to be a great resource to send to your brand new coaches or even current coaches that just need like a refresher when it comes to the business activity tracker. If you did not print it out today, you can find, and you can always do this. I like to print things out so I can like check it off, but it lives now in the Coach back office. So if you go to Coach office, tools and resources, business resources, and then you can see the activity tracker there and you can check things off right online. So if you're someone that likes to keep everything online, that's a great place to do it. All right, if you are on the call right now, if you could drop your word of the year for 2023, that would be amazing. I still need to figure out what my word is. I'm going between a few different ones, but I've always come up with one. I feel like it's a really powerful thing to like have that to start your year. So put that in the chat and that will hopefully give, if you haven't picked your word yet, we'll give some people some ideas too. And then as we go through this, if you have not really figured out what your why is behind this business, really want you to take some time to do that. And that's literally the first thing on this tracker is restate the purpose supporting your coaching business. And I want you to dig a little deeper than just, I want to make an income or I want to make friends, right? Like, I really want you to think about the hard why behind what you're doing, because on the hard days when you're not seeing the results, when you're not seeing the things happen for you, that why is going to get you through those times, right? So spend some time there. Maybe it's financial and time freedom. Maybe it's you want to retire your spouse. Maybe you want to quit your corporate job. Maybe you want to buy your dream home. Maybe you want to take your family on vacation. Like, what is your why? And your why can change too, right? Like, year after year, I'm always evolving my why and changing it. So spend some time on that. Your target market is basically you. So think about who you were before you found these programs and started working out, following a meal plan, like this community. Before that, who were you? And that is the person that you're helping. At first, when I saw that, I was like, I don't know who my target market is. And then someone's like, it literally is you. Like, who were you? And that's who you want to help, right? And so for me personally, like, I'm still a mill spouse, but I was really struggling, like, body image wise. Had always struggled since I was a teenager with like my weight, and health and fitness was non-existent. I didn't know how to take care of myself. We were traveling and moving all the time. I didn't have a good network group, right? You get the idea. And so that's who I want to speak to. And as we go through this tracker, you're kind of thinking, when you're sending messages, when you're creating content, that is the person that you're speaking to. And sometimes we can get, like, if you are a few months or a year or so into this business, we can forget who we're speaking to, especially if we're following other coaches. We can kind of start to just say the things that other people are saying. And so it's a really good gut check to remember, like, okay, who do I want to help and who am I speaking to? Okay, some just like overall tips. You don't have to do these things, but things that have helped me and my team over the last few years is, and this is like for brand new coaches, don't start over your Instagram. If you already have an Instagram, just go with the one that you have, and start creating from there, because most of the time we have a good network already. And so it's really great to just start from there instead of starting fresh. Make your Instagram public. That's really important so that we can find you and that your content can be found on the like main explore page. People can send your content. Like, that is the best way to grow, is having a public account. And commit to following this business activity tracker every single day. All right, so to kick this off and start, we're gonna do, and as we go through, I'll like add some tips, and then I'll have you guys do a little bit of work. And so the first thing I want you to do is share that you're on this call. So we're gonna just take like a minute or two, shouldn't take long, but I want you to, you can snap a picture of yourself, you can snap a picture of the comments here and me, like preferably you working your business.
So you guys can share us being on this call, or take a picture of the screen and share something like she's
But I
talking
want
about.
you to share that you are on this call. You can say, I had a business call today, or, you know, I'm leveling up this year, and so I'm, you know, working on personal growth and business growth, whatever it may be, whatever, like, say it in your own words. But we're just going to take a couple minutes to share directly to your stories. And if you are like super nervous about that, I get it, especially if you haven't shared a whole bunch before. But kind of like a band-aid, you got to rip it off and start somewhere. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. So start by sharing that you are on this call, hanging out with us. You can talk to, and I'll be quiet for a minute.
And you guys can tag us if you want. I need to see. we're gonna keep her moving.
Instead of, I just need more people to be successful, I just need more followers, serving the people already at your table. Something that a top coach once said, I was on a call and they said, can you imagine if you had a dinner party and you invited 10 friends over and you had everybody at your house and you were just going out in the neighborhood trying to get more people because you were like, oh, 10 people's not enough. Like, I need more people to fill my house. Your 10 friends would be like, what the heck? Like, I'm here. Why don't you want to feed me and like hang out with me? And so think of that with your following. I know, especially as a new coach, my thought process was like, I just need more people. I need more people to invite. I need more people watching my stories. And we need to forget about that and serve the people that are already here and help the people that are already here. And coming from the mindset of like showing up, like the content you create, you showing up in your stories, like show up as if you already have this big network, right? Like, why aren't you already showing up like you have 100,000 followers? Not waiting to get there and then, oh, I'll act like a top coach once I get there. I'll act like I have, right? So showing up like that right now. Okay, initiate connections and add followers. I think the best way to do this is through Instagram Reels, showing up on your stories every day, and TikTok, and committing to showing up on social media every dang day. Being authentic, serving, you're going to hear me say that a lot, serving, providing value, and really showing up authentically every day. I think that is the best way to build and grow your accounts, is stay consistent with it, especially when you're not seeing the growth right away. Like, I see some of my team is on this call and I know for a fact that some of them are like, I have posted reels for, 30 days in a row and I didn't see any growth. And then on the 31st day, I gained 500 followers or whatever it may be. So really it's all about consistency and providing that value and thinking like, why does somebody want to follow me and connect with me? And so showing up as someone like that, you want to attract people like you that want to connect and you want to show up for them. So we're going to take some time right now outside of creating content. I think this is another great way, is going out and finding people to start building relationships. And if you think about this, if you did this 10 minutes a day and you went out and tried to find 5 to 10 new people that you followed, you started to engage with, you're basically like trying to build friendships on social media, right? By engaging and connecting. And so we're going to take 5 minutes to do that. So an easy way to do that is to go to other posts and accounts of people that you already follow, or maybe a brand that you really like, and going through the comments of that photo and connecting with people there. You can go to the explore page and find people that way. But I want you to don't think too much about it. Don't be weird about it. Just go find people, follow them, and start engaging with them and move on. I don't want you to like be all intricate and crazy about this. It's not a big deal. Just go find your people. And we're just going to take 5 minutes to do that. Okay, we're gonna move on. And if you feel like, I mean, none of this is really enough time because we're just cranking this out in 30 minutes, but it'll get better as you get into a groove and kind of understand where you're at with it. It'll get easier to do that. Okay, the next thing on our list is creating a social media post. Personally, I commit to either creating an Instagram post, Instagram reel, or a TikTok every single day. I would focus on sharing your life and serving, right? Always serving. And it doesn't have to be body related all of the time. I have found that people want, like, though my community and the people that are going to join me want to join me for me because they have gotten to know me on, you know, my accounts. And the way that they've gotten to know me is because I've shown up authentically and shared parts of my life, not just health and fitness related. And I think that's a common mistake, especially for new coaches who are just sharing health, fitness, nutrition, beach body things, when it's really important to share more about you. I'm not saying to share your deepest, darkest secrets. Like, you don't have to share things that you're not comfortable sharing, but you got to let people in for them to really feel like they can trust you and feel comfortable with you, right? Like, you have to create that relationship. And so the best way to do that is getting on your stories and talking so they can like see and hear you and hear your heart, and showing up through posts authentically and creating content that eventually comes back around to serve the person that you're speaking to, right? So a lot of my content is geared towards the MilSpouse community. I share a lot of things about marriage. I do share health and fitness things. I share like lifestyle things happening in my life, but it's kind of that well-rounded, not just health and fitness. So creating a social media post, we're not going to do that right now on this call, but that's something that I would commit to doing every day. And if you've committed to doing the tracker every day, you're going to have to check that off. And then on your story, this kind of gives some examples like daily life, workout clips, product. You guys, 4 years in, like I started back in 2019, I still follow this tracker and I still do these things. Like, it is truly like the foundation for this business and really puts together like a nice checklist of all the things that you should be focusing on for this. So again, what am I looking for in a story? When I go to your stories, I want value. Are you providing me value? Are you, my coach always says, is it's something that makes you laugh, makes you like you're learning something, or it inspires you. And so when I'm showing up, am I like teaching somebody something? Am I making them laugh, or am I inspiring them? And so creating that story, you can go through these checklist things, daily life, workout clips. I would say here too, same as posts, is not just focus on health and fitness things, but share other parts of your life. And if you're someone that, like I see Heather on this call, who she works full time and she does a really great job at, she can't necessarily post on her stories real time. And I know a lot of people who work full time can't do that. Like, they just physically can't. And then with their job, like, they shouldn't. And so you can create content and then post it at a later time in the day. Like, you don't have to share it real time. It's really okay if people are seeing it at different times, right? Like, nobody's watching your stories being like, wait, I thought you had breakfast at this time. Like, nobody's being that intense. And if they are, that's a little creepy. So definitely feel free to post at, you know, different times. It's not a big deal. And then last thing I'll say here is you have 24 hours on your stories, right? 24 hours, and then your stories disappear to provide value. Like, use that. You have 24 hours every single day. And I think you could have like up to 100 slides or something on your stories. Like, utilize that real estate, that free real estate. Like, we don't have to pay for it at all. And you get to just freely show up and share. Tip for this is share in different ways. So sometimes I will share my shake and what's in it. Other days I will get on and talk about my next group. Other days I'll share my pre-workout. Other days I will just talk about how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll share a transformation. Maybe I'm sharing my PD. Like, mix up how you're sharing and don't get stale with it, right? Like, just change things up every day, every week, and don't feel like you need to post the same thing every day, because just like you watching somebody else, I'm sure you get bored with it. And so mix things up, because people need to see things in different ways. Okay, we're gonna work a little. So for 5 minutes, what I want you to do is share, and I know some of you shared your why in the comments, but I want you to think about your why behind this business and share that to your Instagram stories. I kind of did something today on mine. If you want an example, my handle is Heather Demers Fit, and I basically shared a podcast that I'm listening to and like kind of my thoughts on it and how it related back to me starting my journey with coaching. That's the type of format I'm thinking, is like a picture of you preferably, and then you typing out, like not speaking it, but typing out your why, so that someone can come across that and read your why and really understand like why you're in this and why you're on this journey. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do that. Okay, we're gonna move on. Like I said, you can always go back and pause me and spend as much time as you want. Respond to all new likes, comments. You can't do that unless you're creating content consistently, right? So make sure that you're doing that first. And then going back through and responding to likes and comments in the actual post. And then what I like to do is I will message those that have like liked or commented I'll go and engage with them in the DM. So like, say I post a transformation, somebody comments and says like, oh girl, like you're crushing it. Really, whatever. Maybe she just says you're crushing it. Or she says, I would love to get started. Or I've been struggling lately within the new year, whatever it may be. I'm going to message her in the DM and be like, hey, I saw your comment, and open the door and say, you know, I would love to do this with you if you've ever wanted to. Like, I'd be here to support you. We could keep each other accountable. Do you want more details on my next group? And so that's going to lead me into the next portion on here, inviting. I want you to make your invite your own, like your own words, your own voice. You can always change it up. I think that's great to change it up. But your invite should be unique to you. I know a lot of us always like want to know, well, what's your invite? What are you using? Like, what do you say exactly? And the best invite you could have is one that you create. And I would say it out loud, because sometimes we type and it just sounds like salesy and weird. So say it out loud and then type that out and see how that feels, right? And like I said, feel free to change it up at any time. And one more thing I'll say about inviting is don't make the decision for someone else. Like, you never know who can benefit from this and who needs this. And you are here on this call listening to this right now because someone either personally invited you or publicly put out an invite at some point. That's the only reason why you're here. And so your life is already changed or starting to change. And how can you provide that for somebody else and serve somebody else that needs that, right? So whenever I'm like in my head about inviting, or I'm nervous, scared, like what's going to happen, I think instead of thinking the negative, the positive, like what if this changes her life or his life? Like what if this is something that they really desperately need? I have like hard, tangible examples of people that I was nervous to invite, and then eventually they got started, and they have said like, I wish I started 6 months ago, and I could have invited them 6 months ago, but I was too nervous. And so get out of your own way and send the dang invite. Just an example here. I can kind of read off something that I typed up, but maybe it's, hey Hannah, I'm opening up enrollment for my next accountability group, and I wanted to reach out and invite you. I'd love to do this together and keep each other accountable. I can put this in the comments here too. But I am going to give you, I know we're coming up on our time, so I'm going to give you just a couple minutes, and I want you to just send 2 invites. I just want you to send 2 invites. I think it's good to not just copy paste and actually like type out their name and engage with them in some way, like not just sending a cold invite. That has never worked for me, but really trying to establish that relationship. So maybe your first connection message is just, hey girl, thanks for following my account. Or, hey, thanks for liking my last post. Like, I've been trying to show up more on social media, so that means a lot to me. Like maybe that's your initial connection. And then as you send that, as they're watching your stories, engaging with your content, you can say, hey, I've seen you watching my stories. You know, I'm starting a group soon. Would love to do this with you if you want to hold each other accountable. I could use the accountability too. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to just send 2 invites. Okay, and the last part on that section is follow up with people you've invited. I would not be afraid of this. Like, follow up with your people and connect with them and re-engage with them, because you never know who, like, sometimes we're like, oh, maybe they don't want this because they didn't answer me, but maybe she just opened the message and forgot, or maybe she got busy, or her kid opened the message. Like, you just never know, or it just wasn't a good season for him, her. And so following up is you just being there for them, supporting them. I would say, depending on where you're at in your business, I've followed up every week, I've followed up every 2 weeks, and then I've eventually just put someone on a follow-up where, like, every month I'll send them either an email or a message. Hey girl, I'm starting a new group. I know last month wasn't a good time. I'm here for you if you want to start this month with me. Next section is results. So engaging in your current challenge group. If you don't have a current challenge group, but you're a part of one, so like if your coach has one that you're a part of, engage in there. Like, I know for me, I love it when my coaches engage, because like it makes it an us thing and all of us together are supporting each other. Like, I don't want to be the only one there commenting and shouting people out. Like, I think it's great if you engage in, so like, feel free to do that. I can't imagine any coach saying that they don't want you to do that. So engage and add value. So if you make your shake in a good way, or if you make a recipe that you really love, like, share it in the group, share it for other people, add value, serve your community, and then recognize achievement. I would really try to focus on this every single day, either in your challenge group or if you have a coach group, but recognizing people doing the things. We have those badges now, so you can say like, oh, Susie, hit 5 workouts this week, let's shout her out. Or you had a coach hit Success Club, or whatever it may be. Find some way to shout someone out every day. Start somebody's been really consistent, shared their sweaty selfie 4 times this week, shout her out. We're gonna spend just 2 minutes, so I want you to go into your whatever bod group or accountability group you are a part of, and I want you to just love on the people in that group. So shout them out, comment on their sweaty selfie, just love on the people in there for 2 minutes. All right, and the last section on here is PD, personal development. You will have a hard time surviving this business, and like, I feel like just life in general, without personal development. Like, this was something that I wanted nothing to do with. I was like, I don't need that self-help stuff. Not for me. No, thank you. I don't like to read. I'm not going to listen to a podcast. Like, I never listen to podcasts.
All right, I am going to stop sharing here. And come back, maybe. Here we go. Okay, so I hope you guys found that helpful. If you're anything like me, that direction and the timing and like them like guiding you through it is super helpful, especially like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Like, why can't you do that? So if you need, I can tag you in that video if you need to go find it yourself. But how did you guys feel about that? Did you feel like it was easy when they break it down? And that's exactly what's in our tracker. And I think that's the coolest thing about this business. It's not hard, it's just showing up for it. All right, I know we're at 9 o'clock just about. Does anyone have any final thoughts or feelings or questions or anything at all? All right. Did you guys like doing this during the team call? Like if we did this like once a month, would it be helpful to you? Because life is crazy. Okay. I think we'll start trying to do this like once a month, and then if you guys have a suggestion, we'll do it like every other team call or whatever, we can figure it out. But I think this is super helpful. You're gonna get perspectives from different people and tips and all the good stuff. All right. With that, I hope you guys have a really good night. If you think of anything that you need help with, just ask, but you're doing awesome, and I'll talk to you later. Good night.